33.
There are very few still above ground who met Baba in this country.
You got the video?
You know, and
No sound.
and the beautiful thing about Irwin is he met Baba in 1960, right? And he's been sharing that means 60 years. He's been sharing the story of his meeting with Baba, along with many other things. But I have a couple of announcements. One is that this coming Saturday at, I think, 11:30.
No, it's at 3.
No, I'm talking about Padre.
Padre is on Sunday.
Oh, Padre's on Sunday. Okay, this Saturday we're going to try. Angela and I came up with this idea, and see what you think. All these many months we've been here in front of these screens, and we listen to concerts, we listen to remembrances and people who speak, but we haven't had a chance to interact with each other that much. So we thought if anybody that wants to, like just like this, come on Saturday at 3:00, and Angela will put people in breakout groups, whatever that's called, breakout rooms, and with, say, how many? 3 to 6 people. We haven't figured out how many people, but that way you can get to talk to some of these people that you've only seen on a little rectangular screen all these months. And, it'll be kind of very informal. You can, introduce yourself. You can maybe say how you came to Baba, or how different ways that you remember Baba. I think you'll figure it out, and we'll have more to say at 3:00 on Saturday. So
That's
anyway,
Eastern, of course.
Was that?
That's Eastern time, of course.
Eastern time, yeah. Anyway, like I say, there are only a couple of handfuls of people in this country who have met Baba, who are left, who have met Baba and are available to share their stories. So since it's late, we're going to have Irwin start right in. So yeah, let's give Irwin a hand here. This guy has been at it for 60 years. So yeah, you have the stage, Irwin.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, great.
All right, well, that's step number 1. Now, I was thinking, what am I going to talk about this evening? And that everyone could really feel something from it. Because I think one of the most important things in my life with Baba has been what a beautiful person he was. We're not talking about him being the infinite God who is infinite bliss, infinite power, infinite knowledge, infinite everything. Well, he is, but what he really was to me was what a wonderful person he was. He was so sweet and so loving and so kind, and he was so wise. Boy, was Baba wise. Whatever he said, it always worked out 100%. It was just, you couldn't have a better person in your family. And that's the way I felt about Baba. He was part of my family. He was closer to me than anyone in the family. I'm going to read you something from my book, because in this book, I put down what really happened so much with Baba. And this is the personal side, because I wrote many letters to Baba. Baba wrote many letters to me. And he would explain, or he would direct me or guide me so nicely. It was done so lovingly and tactfully. There was nothing hard about it. To other people, it might seem like I was sacrificing a lot. to be under the hand of Baba, being that he's another person living in India and I was in the US. And families and other people didn't quite understand that. They thought it was a sacrifice on my part to be doing everything that Baba said. But when they asked me about it, I would tell them, what sacrifice? This is what I want to do. You sacrifice when you do something you don't want to do. This is what I want to do. I want to be able to be directed and guided by him. And it was a pleasure for Baba because he didn't have no resistance with me. And it was a pleasure for me because it was because I felt that he really knew the best for me, as he was knowing the best for everybody that approached him. It wasn't just me, it was everybody as well. Baba had a huge family. It was his lovers all over the world. And everyone that I ever spoke to always felt it was a personal relationship what they had with Baba. It wasn't just something that was for the masses and for general everybody, you know, in the whole world. It was for everybody in the whole world, but at the same time, it was always where you felt that he was right there for you. So now I'm going to read you something out of my book because in this particular episode, it shows two things. It shows, first of all, the interest that Baba had in me and my family and in us. And it also shows how I wrote to him and how personal it was. I never would write to anybody as personally as I did with him. So this is what happened. Baba had asked 10 questions to me and my brother Edward. And he wanted us to answer each and every one of these questions that he asked. Now, this particular question here, let me see if I can read it without my glasses here. I need my glasses. This particular question, it says, do you both love Baba as before? Has our love become more or less, or is it just as it was? Has your love become more or less, or just as it was? Baba was really big on love because that was the key to realizing the infinite, and he was there for that purpose. Anyhow, he asked this. So I answer, I love you the same as I always have, and I'm thankful for your love. Now, so many people, if they had that question asked to them, Baba would have probably answered something similar. But then I went on because, as I said, this was a very personal relationship, and I spoke to him in very personal ways. So I wrote to him this, and this is actually to Baba. Listen, Lord Baba, I know you are closer to me than the stars to the sky, and you know that I can't love you more than more. Why don't you permit me to love you as divinely as you love me? What will become of me when you drop your form? Will you leave me behind, or will you take me with you? I want to follow you where you go and be with you where you are. So please don't forget to remember me, Lord Baba, when you're ready to go. That was one thing that I wrote. Now, Baba liked very much the answers that me and my brother would give to his questions. That was just one of them. But you see, I was already concerned at that time. What happens when he leaves his body? It's bound to happen. How will I feel about it? Because everything was centered around Baba in my life. I was working to make money so I can go visit him. I was always thinking about him and trying to do whatever he advised me to do. I would even ask him for more advice, to the extent that I was up to here already following the things that he said. I couldn't even follow anything more. And still I asked for more. How do you like that? You try that one out. So that was, That was me in those days. Now, I'm saying a lot of this because I think that there's a lot of people that if they were in the company of Bob and they had the opportunities to be communicating with him like I was doing, they would have done the same thing. They would have liked to do the same thing. It was a very personal relationship. People don't understand so much the personal part of Baba. He was a great guy to be around. He was someone that you could really enjoy your company with him. He liked to play games. He liked to do so many things that people like to do. He liked to hear music and songs and dance and you name it. He was he liked that very much. What people like, and as a human being, he was most human. Once someone asked Baba, "Are you human?" Because you know they hear about all the great things that God is bliss and everything. You want to know if he was human also. Baba answered, "I'm more human than you are." He said that. Of course, he would be more human than us. As the creator of everything, human beings are part of it. Animals are part of it. Great beings and highly conscious souls are part of it. You name it, he's a part of it. And that's why that, I guess that poem, that he is everything. What is it called? I am everything, something like that. And Baba said there'll come a day when everyone will be singing that song. Oh. You recall what that is? Oh. I'm asking somebody else. I can't remember everything. My mind isn't what it used to be. Yeah. I don't even know how it used to be. So just the same. So now I'm going to tell you something really wonderful about myself. Yeah, something really wonderful about myself. Baba called me a divine idiot. I thought that was great, you know. Divine? Anything divine would be better than not, you see. So I was a divine idiot. And this is the way it happened. I was sitting by his chair and Baba was in the chair. There was about 200 people in the room. This was in Guru Prasad Hall, which is in Pune, India. And I was sitting there with Baba, along with everybody else, but I was right next to him. And all of a sudden, Baba turns to me, and he just looks, and he goes like this here with his hand. That's all, you know, because Baba was silent. He just did that, you know, and he looks at me, and then he points like that. Okay. So I'm looking at Baba, thinking, what does that mean? So then Baba does it again, and he points. And I'm looking at Baba. Oh, if it was just an ordinary person, I'd say he's telling me I'm crazy or mad or something like that. And then a third time, Baba does the same thing, and he points. Well, now, Baba says, with his gestures, and Erich is reading his gestures, Baba says, you are both divine idiots. Because my brother Edward was also with me. We were both together. And I said, and I'm thinking, he said it. He actually said, I'm an idiot. So I'm telling you about something wonderful about myself, right? Well, later, I should tell you this part. So afterwards, I asked, after he said that, and then Baba went on to proceed with the people that were in the room, communicating, saying whatever he wanted to say. And while Baba's doing that, Erich was right there. And I said to Erich, I said, what does Baba mean by saying that? And he said to me, if you want God, the world will think you're mad. That's what he said. Those who want God, the world can't understand such a thing. They will think you're mad. So that's the way he explained it, you see. So now, some years later, I wrote this poem, and it's called The Truth, in case you want to know the truth, from Irwin Luck. Here it is, The Truth. Okay. Before I tell you the truth, I want to tell you that I don't know anything. I have it from the highest source that I am a divine idiot. This disclaimer is also the truth. The truth is my life is one long search. I don't know what I'm looking for, but there are many clues. Like a detective, I check them all out. One clue leads to the next, then to the next. I must find what I am looking for. There is always another clue to help me find I don't know what. Someone great said, I'm trying to find myself. Somehow there are no clues that work, but lots of clues that don't work. Oh, great God of everything. I am sure you heard all this before, but it is the first time for me. I got it from the best source I could find, that somehow, sometime, someplace, I will find whatever it is I am looking for. This is the truth. Don't forget, I am a divine idiot, and that is the real truth. Need I say more? What I really like was Val Kalturi. Many of you remember him. And he used to give talks that he could talk for hours, literally for hours. And he had great things to say. But before he would start his talk, and this would happen from time to time, he would start off by saying, I want you all to know that I don't know anything. Now you can ask me whatever you want. How about that? This man who lived with Mayor Baba all those years had so many really great things to tell about his experiences with Baba, didn't know anything. And he said so, and still they would ask. How about that? Because in the real knowledge of everything, Baba didn't give him that experience. That was something you would go to Baba for. But he had so many great tales to tell of what it was like living with him. Living with this man who knew everything, and he knew what he felt was nothing. So I joined that club, in case you want to know. Well, you know, I had a dream once with Upasni Maharaj, one of the 5 perfect masters, the one that gave Baba the divine knowledge. You know, Baba said, Babajan, Hazrat Babajan, who was a perfect master, a God-realized person, he said, gave him divine bliss. While Upasni Maharaj, he was sent to, gave him the divine knowledge. And then there was Sai Baba, the head of the 5 perfect masters. He was so great that Baba said, if you knew how great he was the personification of perfection. Can't even imagine what that is. And he's talking about cosmic perfection. He's talking about human perfection, every kind of perfection, you name it, he's perfect. This is amazing. By our standards, nobody has that kind of knowledge or can be perfect in every which way. But the perfect masters are not called perfect masters for nothing, because they have arrived at the God realized state, which is the source of everything, including knowledge. So he had come to that point, and he was the head of the 5 perfect masters. Now, Upasni Maharaj was one of them. He was one of the perfect masters. And I never really met him in physical life, but I had dreams with him, and which is quite rare because I really hardly ever have that happen. But this did happen. It was very vivid. And what did I see? I saw myself walking down a path, and it was a winding path which was going towards the seat where he was, where Upasni was. And as I'm walking down the path, I see these pits on either side, and there's people in it, and they're crying that they want to get out. They wanted to be free. And they had fallen into the pits and they couldn't get out. But as I'm walking, I'm avoiding those pits, and I get to Upasni Maharaj. And there he is, and he takes me, he leads me to go into the forest, which was just nearby. There was a forest, and there was a tree laying on the ground, a fallen tree. And we sit on the trees, on the tree stump there, the trees. And he says to me something very, very amazing. Your time has come. I immediately knew what he was talking about. He was talking about the real thing, that the time to know him, to know God, is finally coming. So this dream was a dream, and it passed. As time went by, whenever I went to see Baba, I really wanted to know God. I wanted to know him as he really is, not just hear about God. I wanted to see it for myself. It was time. I had once spoken about this here, that was the whole point of going to Baba at the time. When I went to visit Baba, it wasn't just to see him sitting in a chair and, you know, as a human being, being very nice to everybody or instructing people or doing whatever he was doing. I wanted him to show me the real thing, not just to be there. Here's the avatar, someone who has infinite consciousness of everything, being everywhere and everything, which I can't even imagine such a consciousness. Can't even imagine how you be everywhere and everything, but except in the form of a dream, whereas you have a dream and you see yourself, you see the people and you see the sky and you see everything, and there you are. You created the whole thing. The people are the sky, you are the furniture, whatever you see in your dream, that's what you are, because you made it. You see, it's all in your imagination. You create the imagination. And Baba many times told us how it was all illusion, how it was all imagination, that we're not experiencing the real thing. And by the way, in case anybody is interested, because you like to attain to experiences, the love, the power, the bliss. You know what the yogis do. They want to do meditation, concentration. They want to gain higher consciousness. But all that higher consciousness they're talking about is within the framework of the mind. It's not beyond the mind. Baba is beyond the mind. That's what he tells us. And he doesn't give those experiences because he wants to take us to know our true self, which is unlimited instead of limited. So he has to take you beyond the mind. What is he going to do? Give you a bunch of dreams to think about when he's got a greater purpose to take you beyond all that? But no one else can do that. You see, if you go to a yogi, he can't do that. He can take you to whatever level he is, and that's about it. Some awaken to Kundalini, they have powers. All these powers within the framework of the imagination, of the illusion, of the cosmos. But when Baba wants to take you to the power, He takes you to the source of everything, which is within you. It's not somewhere else. It's within you already, but you're not conscious of it. You see, the difference is in consciousness. There's no difference between me and Baba, except in consciousness. Oh, brother, what a big deal that is. In consciousness, I'm not conscious of it. He says he is, so he can bring you to it. All right, now, what I was talking about, I was talking about Upasni Maharaj, but that was more or less it. So I'm going to relate this now to what Baba told me, because that was what my aim was to know God. Okay, so what happened? One day, we're leaving the hall where Baba is, me and my brother Edward. Oh boy, this time Baba has something to say. As we're leaving, he puts his hand up like this, like this, like this. One day, I will give you the highest experience. This is what he said. And then he repeated it. One day, I will give you the highest experience. Well, of course, that's what the aim of my life is for, to know the truth, to know the reality. And here is someone that can actually do it. It's not like saying, oh, you know, I hope God blesses you or something like that. No. There's no hopes here. This is the one that can do what you seek, what the seeker seeks. That's the one you want to be with. You don't want to be with those who can't do it, but also maybe seeking as well. I mean, you're with them as companions on the path, that you are. But to actually gain that consciousness, that's what we're all here following Mayor Baba. It's to find him as he really is. And Baba made it very, very clear to us. He would say, I've come down from the highest level to bring you up to my level. He wasn't saying that it's just for him or it's just for the few. It's for us to come to that level. I mean, who wouldn't want to experience the bliss that is the source of all happinesses? We don't even imagine it. You know, you can't ask for something that you don't even know what it is. Yeah, but he's telling us that because that's his experience. His experience, the bliss that is the source of all happinesses. I was reading one of the chapters that Baba wrote, and in it he said, you can't even begin to imagine what this bliss is. we have no bliss at all like that. You know, not only like that, even a little minuscule pinch of it, we don't even have. It's hard to imagine something that you have no taste, that you haven't even tasted. But anyhow, it sounds good. It sounds great. Well, anyhow, well, okay. So I've had some really great experiences with Baba. You know, my dad, some of you have already heard, was very opposed to Mayor Baba in the beginning. In the beginning, boy, did he not like Mayor Baba. He really felt Baba was the worst of the worst. How could we ever be following a man in India who claims to be God? Oh, brother, this was like too much for him to swallow. And he just couldn't go for it. And no matter how I would talk to him and try to explain a few things to him, I said, listen, Dad, read something. Read what kind of life he lives. You'll see, you'll begin to learn a few things if you at least, you know, read. So what does he do? He starts to communicate with Baba. He writes to Baba. Baba is Baba. He knew just how to handle good old Dad. Boy, could he handle it. Whatever my father wanted, Baba would say good. you're such a good man. What a good heart you have. However, the worst letters he would write to Baba. He would tell Baba the worst things. I'm not even going to repeat it.
He told Baba to excommunicate.
And then he wanted Baba to excommunicate me and Edward from him because we were also no good, no good disciples. You don't like them. He would tell Baba this. Well, of course, Baba would ignore a lot of that, but at the same time, he would say, he would write back to my father what a good heart he has, how much he loves the family. And Baba was very pleased and happy with that. And he would send him his love and blessings. And finally, my father, after a couple of years of this, all these here great letters from Baba, no matter what terrible letter he would write, what demands he would get, he would give to Baba. Would send him back all these sweet letters. And then one day my father writes to Baba, if you think that you want these two, what did he call us? I mean, he called us so many names. If you want them,
Robert.
then you will have to send them a flying carpet to get to you because I'm not giving them any money. There's no money coming. These are just crooks. They'll steal everything from you. He would call us all kinds of things. And then he would say, he would say, you will have to give them your money and you will have to give them a flying carpet to get there. And he would go on with this. Do you know that Baba actually gave him his wish, whatever he said? What happened was when we actually flew to see Baba, and I'll tell you how the money came in a minute, but when he would actually fly to see Baba, we flew on Air India, which was then called the Flying Carpet Airline.
Yes.
It was the Flying Carpet Airline. Baba sent us a flying carpet, okay? Gave him what he wanted. How can you not like him? Then to make the money, I had been working with my dad at the time, in spite of all of his commotion, you know, he wanted me around all the time. So I was working for him and I had saved up quite a bit of money in real estate working with him. But then, and I was also going to bring some other people with me to the East-West gathering in order, because they didn't have money to go. And I was going to help them with money to get the tickets and see Baba because they wanted to see Baba. All right. So what happens is that a Baba lover, a good friend of ours, writes to Baba saying, questioning whether it was a good thing for us to give, just to give money to them in order to go and to get their tickets. So Baba responds that wants to know who is coming from Miami at that time. And then this letter was also mentioned to my dad in the course of the correspondences. Oh boy, did my father get furious. You're going to give these drifters, he would call them drifters, money to go to India? I don't even want you to go and you're going to give them your money? He says, I'm writing to Baba. He would write to Baba and say that we stole every penny that we were going to give to them. And we were, and that now we were going to go ourselves, and Baba, don't let them go because they're no good. They're not. He would talk to Baba about us like this, you know. All right, so Baba, you know, he would sort of ignore that. But then Arti sent back a letter. And Arti said, in the letter, he said that whatever money our father claims is his, or the family money that he claims that we took, we should just give give him, tell him that we'll give him whatever he wants, and we should give him whatever money it is. And then we should beg of him to lend us money so that the two of us could at least go to see Mayor Baba. And Ani felt this would be a good solution. So, so when he said that, I had the feeling that Baba was really behind this. It wasn't just Adi talking. All right. So I went up to my dad and I said, Dad, I have received this letter. You can look at it. So he looks at it and he reads what it said and he says, what are you going to do about it? I said, well, I'm going to give you whatever you want. You name whatever you want and I'll give you the money. He says, oh, is that right? You're going to just give me anything I say? Because he couldn't believe it. There was no way I was ever going to do this. But now that it came from Adi and I felt it was actually from Baba as well, although Baba wasn't mentioned in it, I said, yeah, I'm going to do that. So he says, this has got to be a trick. He couldn't believe we're actually going to do this. He said, this is some trick. He says, all right, I'm going to go to the bank. I'll get the paper. You sign it. All the money will go into my account that you have in yours, and that will settle it. So I said, whatever you say, I'm going to do it. So he goes to the bank, and the next day he comes back and he has the paper in his pocket. And he says, okay, let's see now what happens. You sign this, you'll have nothing after this, and then I'll have it all. I said, and I signed it. So I signed it. I'm not worried about it. This is under the avatar. You got to understand the avatar. Just fine, I'll sign it, whatever it is. So I sign it. Okay, now he tucks it into his pocket and he goes and he sits in his favorite chair in the living room. And like the cat that swallowed the canary, he has this nice grin on his face. They're not going anywhere. It's a fact, this really happened. It'll make a good movie someday. Anyhow, so I go up to him and I said, well, Dad, now I've done my part, what Adi had suggested in the letter. And now I'm going to ask you to lend us the money, just lend it to us so that we can make our trip to India. And then we'll pay you back because it was supposed to be a loan. So he says, well, I'll think about it. He's going to think about it. I said, there's no time to think. The plane is going to be leaving in a week. You can't, I mean, a couple of weeks. So there's no time to think. He says, no, I'm going to think about it. And I said, look, if you really don't want to do it, just say so and we'll be finished with that. He says, well, it's because you didn't do what Baba said. Huh? Well, what? I didn't do? So I said, what didn't I do? He says, you didn't beg of me. Because it said in the letter, I should beg of him to borrow the money, you see. He was telling me I wasn't doing what he said. So I said, okay, Dad, this was another thing I would never do otherwise, but since it had come to this, I said, okay, Dad, I beg of you, just do it. And he says, well, now I'll think about it. And again, he wants to think about it. I said, look, if you don't want to do it, tell me, and I'll just have to find some other way of going. So he says, don't push me. If you push me, I won't do anything. I said, there's no time. If you don't want to do, just don't do. Anyhow, I'm going to have to go. He says, oh, so you're going to go. Where? Where are you going to go? I said, I'll go to New York and I'll see what I can do to get the money. All right. So he says, good, go, you know, but actually, no, actually, he didn't want me to go. He wanted me to stay. He says, no, stay here, stay here. I said, look, I got to do this. I got to leave.
Did you get the money to go to India?
Well, now comes the part what he asked Baba for is about to happen. So what happened? I'm in New York, and Ed and I don't have any money to go. There's more to the story, but I'm going to cut it short. We don't have money to go. All of a sudden, a telegram comes to Fred and Ella Winterfeld. And the telegram is it's from Baba. He wants to know who's coming from Miami. So they said Ed Short and Phil Collins were going, but Irwin and Edward haven't been able to get the money, so they haven't been able to decide. They can't go yet. Then it happens. What happens? Baba sends a telegram to Dr. Harry Kenmore. Harry Kenmore, who was also running the flights, the New York flights to India. And the cable comes, and Harry Kenmore calls me up. And he says, Irwin, I have good news for you. Sounds good. What is it? He says, Meher Baba has ordered, this is the way he talked, you see, he was very dynamic. Meher Baba has ordered me to give you whatever money you and Edward need to come and see him, and also all your expenses. Now, isn't that good news?
Hooray.
Yeah, good news indeed. When should I come? He says, you come tomorrow. And I came to his office, because he was a chiropractor, and he hands me the letter, the cable. And sure enough, he says, just read it, because he was blind. He couldn't read, he couldn't see. But he was a very dynamic man and very close to Baba. So anyhow, I read the cable, and sure enough, it says just that. Mayor Baba orders you to give Irwin and Edward the money so that they can come to see him, and also all his expenses. At that point, it wasn't even a loan. It was just give it to them, That was his order. Wow. And without hesitation, he did the whole thing. So he says, how much do you want? I said, look, you're handling the flights. So just arrange for us to be on the flight. You can take care of that. And we won't need any expense money, because we did put up $300 deposit for the flights. We can use that for the expense. So that's how we happened to go, you see, at that point. Now, in the meantime, I'm still in touch with my dad. I wasn't mad at him. I just figured, well, that's the way he is, that's nothing I can do about it. So, so I'm still in touch with him. And he says to me on the phone, he says, how is it going? He was, he was sort of like, sort of mocking me in a way. So I said, well, we're going to be leaving in a few days. He says, leaving? How are you leaving? I said, well, Mayor Baba has arranged for our passage. And there was silence, dead silence. He was thinking and thinking, and nothing was being said, and thinking. Finally, he says something. Meher Baba must really love you. It finally came through to him, because he couldn't imagine that. Baba was out for himself. That was his view. He was just another spiritual hawker, you might say. When this happened, it was like a shock. And Baba gave him what he said when he said, Baba, you're going to have to arrange everything for them and give them the money, because I'm not doing it. But of course, he was feeling that Baba was just a Shylock, wasn't going to be doing anything. And now it happened just exactly what he had asked for. Baba provided a flying carpet, the Flying Carpet Airline, which was the airline. And then we had the money. When we got to India, in the course of our stay, then Baba turned it into a debt. And he said, I want you to free yourself from all bindings, clear yourself of all debts, and stand ready for my call. These were the three things he told us at that time, and sent us back to the States. So now you know that.
Wow.
This was, you can see how personal Baba was in things. Even my dad, who was so much against him, started writing love poems to Baba. He would write love poems. Who would believe that this man, who was such a self-made man as far as the worldly sense is concerned, he was the top salesman of all salesmen. I mean, he was quite shrewd, quite smart, and very successful in what he would do. And thought he was like the man who thought that he was always right. And that's how was my dad. You couldn't argue with him. He was feel he was right, always right. And now he was gaining a real appreciation of Baba, to the point where he would call Baba his friend. He went from, I hate Baba, he's just a spiritual con man, to the point where now Mayor Baba is my friend. And I asked him, I've said this before, I don't know, maybe I'm repeating myself for some of the people that are hearing this, but he said before that Baba was, because I asked him, when he said he was his friend, I said, is he your best friend? I don't know why I asked him that. Is he your, I mean, friend, okay, but now best friend? He says, I'll think about it. Don't ask me. I will tell you when I finish thinking about it. Sure enough, in a couple of days, he says, I didn't forget. You asked me about my friendship with Baba. Well, he started naming all his different friends that he had. And he would say, what's wrong with each one? Because that's how my dad was. He'd find everything wrong with you. And he would name this one, and then he would say, what's wrong with him? And that one, or what's wrong with him? And that one, and what's wrong with him? And he would go down the line, and what's wrong with every one of them. Of his friends, these were friends. So then he comes to, and he says, and now Meher Baba. My father was quite dramatic. Now Meher Baba. Ah, yes, Baba understands me. He's my best friend. To go from one extreme to the other. Wow. So, he would write really great things, about Baba too. I don't know, in my book, I even have some of it, but I can't, such a thick book. If you're going to write a book, don't write a thick one, because then it's hard to find anything, you see. You can't find anything when you want it. Oh, wait a minute, let me see. So everything is off my memory, yeah. There was one particular letter that he wrote that I would like to read, but I don't know if I can see if I can find it,
Hey, and Irwin, also, if you can share some of your actual times with Baba, any of the stories would be great.
I thought that's what I was doing, but now.
Well, you are, but.
Okay, I'll tell you more. People ask me, well, what was it like to meet Mayor Baba? In my case, because I am a case, I when the car came up to Guru Prasad, this is the first meeting that I had with Mayor Baba. When the car came up to Guru Prasad, I was driven there, and Baba was standing on the porch, the veranda, and he was motioning, he was waving. So I was there with Maraji. He drove me from the airport to Pune, where Baba was. And he's saying, Baba's calling you, you go. So I got out of the car and I went over to where Baba was. By then he had gone inside in a room. So as soon as I came into the room, Baba had his arms out. He just gave me a big hug and he embraced me and kissed me on my cheeks. And then he had me sit near him. And he wanted to know how I had come. So I said, Baba, I'm able to come because it was your will. Which, if you knew anything at all what happened in those days, I had no money. I had no money to go anywhere. Now, this was the first time. It wasn't the time that I was telling you about when I went to see Baba and he saw to my coming. No, this was before that. So I said that, I said, it was your will, Baba. Because you see, at that time, like I said, I had no money to go anywhere. And I was very desperate. I wanted to meet Baba. I wanted to get there because I wanted him to show me God. Man, that was what I wanted. And I couldn't get there. So I got desperate because Baba's sister Mani had sent us here a family letter saying that Baba would be going into seclusion for 6 months. And that during that time, he would not be having any visitors come to him or correspondence, no letters, no visitors, except in emergency, you could send a telegram. So when I got that, I thought, oh, Baba's going to go into seclusion now for 6 months. Oh, that's too much. I can't handle this. This is no good. So I became desperate, you know. Jeff, what was I going to do? I saw you look away. That's what you get for being on the video here. So anyhow, we always get along good. We have a lot of fun together. So what happened is Baba asked me how I had come. So when I said it was your will, it was because what had happened is that I got so desperate because I couldn't get there that I wrote to Baba a letter. And I said, Baba, I want very much to have the benefit of your love, your direction, and your guidance, but I can't get to see you. I have enough money to trip, and I know if it is your will, I would be able to go, providing it's your wish. And I wrote a letter to Baba that. So right away comes back a letter. Oh boy, it came back so quick. I couldn't believe the mail could go that fast. Don't worry. In the letter it said, don't worry. Circumstances will adjust themselves. Love, Meher Baba. That was it. That was the whole letter. I got this letter. So I'm looking at it. I said, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. You know, something's got to happen now. And I'm going to cut short what actually happened by telling you what else happened. And that is 2 weeks later, I'm with Mayor Baba now. After he said that, there was no, I'm telling you, it's a whole fantastic story of what occurred, but circumstances will adjust themselves. See, Baba, I took Baba as God when I wrote that letter because I said, only God can help me now. There's no way I'm going to get over there. There's some kind of a miracle has to occur. So when that letter came and And that's how Baba would work when people pray to Baba and they ask him for whatever mundane things that they want to ask for, or for spiritual help, or for guidance, or for whatever you want, whatever it is that you want. The mind is everywhere. He gets that immediately. He perceives this immediately before any letters go or anything. You can always reach Baba just by the sheer thought. But in this case, when I sent that letter, and Baba has 1,001 ways of adjusting the circumstance. And what I wanted to say about it is, you don't need to hear a voice come back and tell you what to do. He doesn't work that way. He fixes the circumstances that you're in so that what you require, what you need, is what you get. And Baba also explained that I don't give you what you want, I give you what you need. But even if what you want, he arranges it in such a way to make a need out of it so that you can receive what you want. Just like he did with my dad, you see, like he does with all of us. I mean, it's not my father just, it's all of us. So everybody has a connection with Baba. And right now, I'm like anybody else. I don't see, I can't go to meet Mayor Baba in his physical form, no more than anybody else these days can do. So how do I approach him? I sometimes write a letter to him and I put it by his picture. Judy will tell you that. I do it.
Read the letter.
Yeah. And then she grabs my letter, so I write to Baba and she reads it. How do you like that? So, but just the same, that's what I do. And Baba, without fail, always helps me. And he told me, I will help you. I will help you. And how do I get help? I don't write letters to him in India. I just put it by his picture, something, and he answers in his own way, and the circumstances change, and everything is a lot better. And anybody can do that. I mean, I'm not the only one in the world that can do this. Anybody can do that. You have a connection with the avatar because he is so close to you closer than your own breath. He tells us, I'm closer to you than your own breath. I'm your very self. How can you get any closer than that? What?
Tell about when Baba told you to stay close to him. And when he actually had to go around, get out of the car.
Judy is reminding me that there were times when I'm physically with Baba, because this is what Jeff likes to hear. I have to just say that when I'm physically with him, Baba wanted me to be very close to him, to be right there close to him. And there have been times when I was in the car with Baba, and he was going to Madhusudan's home because Madhusudan was having a birthday. Oh, I should tell you this. You see, Madhusudan, when I was there, I would see him singing to Baba all the time. Baba really liked Madhusudan's songs. And he would listen to him and sing. And when Baba would listen to a singer, he would also participate in the song. He would move his hands and he would gesture to the singer and show him his feelings about what the singer was singing. Baba would do like that. He was very animated and very much a part of the artist's portrayal. So he wanted me close. So all right, now I'm in the car and I suddenly get the urge to ask Baba a question. I'm thinking, here I am with the avatar. I'm not saying anything. Baba's not, he just has me sitting in the car there with him. And I'm thinking, it's not so it wouldn't be quite nice, sort of polite, to just stare at Baba, you know, because he's sitting right next to me. And, you know, I'd have to turn and look at him that way. But Baba is very, very much in tune with your thoughts, as I was saying. So what does he do? He points behind him, and he points that the sun is coming through the back window of the car on him, and he wants me to hold something to block the sun so it doesn't go directly on him. So to do that, you have to look at Baba and with the thing and hold a fan up over him so that you got so, you know, I got my wish. I wanted to really look at him because now he's sitting right next to me. So I'm doing that. But then I also get the urge that, you know, I really ought to ask Baba something because now I'm here with him. So I suddenly just blurt out, was Shri Yukteswar a perfect master? This is what I asked. And Baba's sitting right there now. Now, for those who don't know, there's this book, Autobiography of a Yogi, about Paramhansa Yogananda, who had a master, and he was given a lot of divine experiences by this master. So I had read that book, and I suddenly occurred to me, was he also a perfect master, Yogananda's master? So when I asked, so then I just asked Baba, because he was conveniently sitting right next to me. Isn't that right, Jeff? What would you do? You would have to ask something.
Okay.
So Baba turns to me and he gestures, you know, and Erich is reading his gestures. And Baba's saying, did you come all this way just to ask me this question? You could have written. So for the first time, I got to tell God that he was right. And I said, Baba, you're absolutely right. I told him he was right. And Baba just smiled. You know, he just gave a big smile. Yeah, this first grader is telling the teacher is right. You know? All right. So there it is. So so then we're going, you see, there was a little story about this going to Madhusudan's birthday party, because Baba asked Madhusudan if, Baba said that he would like to go visit him in his home. And Madhusudan, with being with Baba, said, no, Baba, that's not a good idea. And Baba said, you don't want me to go? He says, absolutely not, Baba. Don't come to my house. So Baba said, tell me why you don't want me to come? He said, that's right, Baba. It wouldn't be. It's a very bad idea. You don't want to come to my house. And Baba said, well, tell me, well, what's the reason? He said, because wherever you go, it's like an elephant. It's so many people, so many cars, so many everything. They couldn't possibly fit into my house. I have a small little apartment, and there's no way that you and everybody that you come with could possibly fit in there. It's a bad idea. Don't come to my house. So then Baba says, all right, never mind. So what does Baba do? You can't outfox the fox. We all know that. A fox is very smart. He's going to catch the rabbit. Nevertheless, Madhusudan, might say, was the rabbit. So now what Baba says to one of his disciples, he says, this was later, he says, call up Madhusudan's wife and ask her what kind of special occasions might be coming up. So comes back and says, well, she says that his birthday is going to be soon. is the occasion that's coming up. And Baba says, oh, now call her back and tell her that I want to have a surprise for Madhusudan and not to tell him anything, that it was just going to be a surprise that I'm going to come to his birthday party. But don't tell him anything. Let it just be a surprise.
Wow.
What did I say about the fox? You know, you can't outfox the fox. So now I'm there, you see. So I'm coming, we're coming out of the car and I'm walking behind Baba. And Baba's going up the steps. And Baba had this hip injury from the accidents. And it was not so easy for him, but he limped up the steps. And then we go into the apartment. And whoever was coming, this line of cars that were always coming behind Baba, everybody wanted to be with him. What do you expect? It's going to be a line of cars. So he had come up. And we're in the apartment. And Madhusudan comes home. And he sees Baba sitting in the chair there, waiting for him to come in. With all the people there, fit into the apartment. Just fit in just fine. So we're all standing there with Baba. And then Baba has him sing and they wish him a happy birthday and all like that. It was a very fine time. Yeah, you see. So Jeff, what would you have said if you had a little tiny room and now Baba and his entire entourage wants to come and fit inside? See, I have to ask him because he's the only picture I see on my screen. So there he is looking at me. I can't hear you.
Jeff, you're on mute.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh, that's a great picture.
Yeah.
Too.
Bring it on.
All
Everybody.
right.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone has any questions, you can ask me also.
Someone put a note, they wanted to ask your, well, you did give your first meeting with Baba, but they wanted to know how you even heard of Baba in the first place.
Well, yes. For a few years prior to the time that I heard about Baba, I was already focusing on this spiritual realm. So my brother Edward knew this. You know, obviously he knew this. This is a brother. So he's pursuing an acting career in New York. And I'm in Miami. And he goes into the New York library to find a book about acting that he wanted to help him in his acting career. So what does he see? He sees this book, Listen Humanity, on the shelf. And he tells me later, well, what title is this? Listen Humanity? This man must have something very important to say to all of humanity to call his book Listen Humanity. What kind of a name is this? So he picks the book off to see what this is. And then, of course, he starts to read about Mayor Baba. Don Stevens was writing about his experience of being present with Baba and the things that happened. So he liked what he was reading. And then he calls me up. He's in New York, I'm in Miami. He calls me up and he says, you know, I read his book about this man who says he's God. And he is a great master and has a lot of love because Baba would bow down to the poorest. And, you know, he was reading all these things. And he says, he has so much love. You should read this book. I'm hearing him say this to me. So I'm thinking, what do I need a book for? I'm already feel I have inner guidance. I don't need to have anybody else. So I'm just hearing, but I'm also thinking, it's amazing. This is amazing that my brother should have any kind of spiritual interest. This was the amazing part to me. It was him. Now, so he catches a ride back to Miami. He left New York. And in the meantime, I was having this, as I said, inner direction, inner guidance. And I get the inner direction that if I go to New York, something will happen where I gain a communication with God. This really happened. I had this experience, and it was very strong. And I thought, well, I never ignore these internal directions like this. So I'll go. And of course, I was working with my dad at the time, and here he comes into the picture. And I tell him I'm leaving for New York. And he says, you can't go. I said, why not? He said, because you're working here with me. You have your job here. You're living in the house with us. You got all your friends here. Everything, all your possessions, everything else is here. There's nothing for you there. So being a practical man, he told me the practical points that I had to consider, except that I was now under a entirely different influence. So I said, look, Dad, I believe that, thank you. I believe that that if I go to New York, it's going to be very important for me. And so he persists. What's important? And I knew there's no way around this. I'm going to have to tell him. So I said, look, Dad, I know that you're not going to understand this at all, but I'm going to tell you because I need to tell you. I know that if I go to New York, something is going to happen where I'll gain a communication with God. You can imagine how that sounds. He's a very practical man. He's no slouch, I should say. He hears this. It's like something out of nowhere land coming up. And I knew how it would sound to him. So he says, why do these things always have to happen to me? I said, look, it's not happening to you, it's happening to me, and I'm going to go over there. So anyhow, he says, I'm not going to say nothing more about this. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to go into the mountains and God is going to talk to you and give you his commandments and you're going to go and what do you want to do? Be a prophet for a living? This is the way. I said, no, that's already happened. And I don't think he's going to repeat himself twice. He's thinking of Moses, going up into the mountain.
It's 11:30.
Oh, Judy is reminding me it's 11:30. So I'm going to just finish with this. So now I hear him tell me, so I tell this to my dad. So I went, so then in a couple of weeks, I didn't say anything further about it. And he thought I would forget about it if he didn't say any more. So then I left. I think it was another week or so, I left with the same group of people that my brother came down with. I left and went back up there. I had $70 in my pocket. That was the whole thing. That's all I had for New York. So it wasn't hardly anything. Now I'm in New York. I go to this cheap hotel and I'm in the hotel and I'm doing this meditation that always proved to be very successful for me. But this time, nothing was happening, just absolutely nothing. And I'm thinking, well, God, I'm here. I'm following the intuition, but I don't know why I'm here. What are you going to do? So 4 days go by, nothing. So then I remembered that my brother told me that there was a priest in a church next door. And he said, he's a really nice guy, you ought to go meet him. So I said, well, 4 days, and I think nothing, what is happening? So that's when I decided, all right, I'll go meet him. I'll see, just to meet him. So I talked to him, and he starts to tell me about this book, Autobiography of a Yogi, the one of Yogananda. And he says he was with a master, and and this master really helped him a lot. You ought to read the book. So I thought, what is there to lose? I'm talking to a priest. It's not even my religion. He's telling me about a yogi. It's not even his religion. We're talking about other things. So I go to the library and I get the book. I read it. And when I'm reading it, I'm really impressed by the experiences, the inner experiences, the cosmic experiences that this Yogananda was having under his master, which was Sri Yukteswar, the same one that I talked to Baba about. And when I'm reading it, I begin to really get excited. I get so energized. I must read this book that my brother told me about this master, Mayor Baba. I need to know if he's a real master. And also, I hope he's high, a high master. Who knew high and low? I had no idea. It was just coming to know about it. So sure enough, then I get the book of Listen Humanity, and I read it, and that's when I knew I had to go see Mayor Baba, and that's how it started. Now you know.
Wow. Jeff, just leave.
Any other questions?
He's snoring.
That's how I came to Mayor Baba, to know about Mayor Baba.
Irwin, you know what I think? It would be great to have you come again. We'll set aside another time because this guy's got all sorts of stories, both serious and zany and humorous, and we can't let him. We can't let him go without getting some more stories. So here's what. One of these days we'll put it. We'll let people know again. I don't know where Irwin went. He disappeared. Just a second. Can you folks see Irwin?
No, he seemed to have logged off probably.
Oh, wow. Anyway, I'm just going to persist and we'll get him to come again. I mean, that was just delightful. I mean, he gives such a flavor of what it's like to be with Baba and the fun around Baba and his, all of his crazy ideas is beautiful. And his father, here's one thing about his father who was, so against Baba and everything. After Baba dropped his body, Baba appeared at the end of his bed. Even Eddie and Irwin didn't get that experience. They were saying, man, my dad got to see Baba, after he dropped his body and we didn't. We were really devoted to him. So anyway, I guess, did Irwin just, let me just see.
I think his wife grabbed him.
Okay.
I think she cut him off.
I guess.
She said it was getting near 11:30. I heard her say
yeah,
that.
Yeah. Well, good. So I'll let you know again. Oh, there's Irwin.
Hi, Irwin.
Hey, Irwin. So that was fantastic. That was just absolutely delightful. And we're hoping we'll get you to come again sometime. Can you hear us? Oh, he's connecting to the audio now.
He went to a different computer.
Jeff, he only sees you, so he can't see us clapping. So will you tell him that
yeah.
Clapping?
Yeah, Irwin, this was thrilling. People loved it. And you're in demand. We're going to get you to come again.
All right.
It was just.
I can't wait to hear what Baba wants me to tell you. He always is the one to tell everybody everything what's going on. Because whenever I give a talk, I'm always interested to hear what I'm going to say.
I know that's what he said. I said, you know, yeah, you're going to talk tonight. Well, I don't know what I'm going to say. We're just going to see. I'll show up and see what happens. But that was just so touching and delightful, Irwin. And you can't see us, but we're all giving you a, you know.
Well, I see you now. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Irwin, I want to know if your father called you a Meshuggah.
No, he called us worse.
No, that was it was very descriptive. Beautiful. Well, anyway, let's have a few moments of silence.
Well, before you do, I just want to tell you, my battery had gone out just at the moment that you said it, you know, was complete. So it went out. That's why I disappeared.
Well, good. Well, we're going to get some.
It's getting late.
Okay. Anyway, good. So let's have a few moments of silence before we go on. Jai Baba. Avatar Mer Baba Ki Jai. Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, folks. Great to see all of you. Oh, Alan, we'll get you next time. Good.
Thank you, Jeff, for bringing Irwin. It was wonderful.
Isn't he delightful?
Yeah. I love his sense of humor too, the way he puts it.
Yeah. No, he is a great ambassador for the humanness of Baba.
We love Baba.
Amazing. It was a treat.
Yeah.
Really.
Thank you, Irwin.
Thank you, Irwin. Jai Baba.
Thank you.
Baba.
Thank you, Baba.
Thank you, Irwin. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Baba.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Thank
I saw Namrata was on too, right?
I think for a little while, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Good.
One thing that inspires me is the words he uses, how he brings out the words that Baba told him, how he presents it to us.
Yeah, no, that was great.
Hey, Baba, thank you for making it possible.
Yeah.
Jai
Baba.
Jai Baba.
Thank you, Jeff.
Jai Baba.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Irwin.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Irwin.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba, Jeff. Thank you. Jai Baba.
Baba ki Jai.
Baba ki Jai.
Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai.
Avatar
Avatar
Meher
Meher
Baba ki Jai.
Mission accomplished. Jai Baba.
That was just wonderful.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
You going to bed?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna slip out now.
All right.
But you'll wanna this has been recorded, I think, so you'll wanna hear this. This was really delightful. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
Hey, Alan.
Good.
Hey,
All
Ruth,
right,
how you
folks.
doing?
Good. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we even got Iraj Namrani in Seattle. And yeah. Wow, that was really nice.
Beautiful.
And just to say, Jasima, his brother passed on.
Okay.
But what stories he had, Eddie had to tell.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't listen to his stories at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been recorded?
Yeah, but not on this, but they are recorded somewhere.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And he was the one who, I mean, he was at the New York Public Library, you know, like Irwin said, and he wanted to find a book to help in acting career. And he went over and just took a book off the shelf. And I mean, the New York Public Library's got like millions of books. He pulls this thing off the shelf. Listen, humanity. Well, that's interesting. I wonder what this guy has to say about acting. You got the producer of the entire universe.
And then Irwin has to drive all the way up to New York to get a copy of Autobiography of Yoga.
Yeah.
To understand that, yeah, it's Meher Baba.
Yeah. Oh, just delightful. Yeah.
Can we sing the chant that Jamie Newell did at the concert for 15 minutes? Just do a couple minutes.
That was Jim Meyer, Satchitananda.
Yeah, I don't know if if you try to sing it on Zoom, the timing doesn't work. Oddly enough, they haven't gotten the technology yet. Yeah. Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna head out.
Yeah. See ya, Marcia.
Take care.
Say hello to Chicago.
Yeah, it's nice weather now. It was like really warm today.
Yeah. No, that was really. There are not very few people left who met Baba, who are available to share. I'll see if I can get some other people. We got Pratap and Digambar, but there are not very few in this country. But Irwin is still hanging in there.
Yeah, maybe Charles will be next.
Yeah, it'll be good. Although this is, like I say, we can get Charles during the day. 10 o'clock at night is a little harder, but yeah. Irwin is kind of a night owl. Yeah.
Jeff, when Diane and I were in Myrtle Beach, we had no idea who Irwin Luck was, none whatsoever. We were just new Baba people. And
but the luck should have us.
The luck should have it. We went to a talk in the library? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was Irwin. And I connected with him after the talk, and we talked for a really long time. He's just adorable. And we ended up getting his movie. He brought it to the little place we were staying at on the land. And so it's so nice to see him this way, because I didn't know when we would get to see him again, So,
yeah, no,
he's a special one, and very funny, and very, he's so real with his love for Baba that it makes him, he's like worryless somehow. I can't explain it. Oh, okay. Well, I said things. No, it doesn't matter.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm not.
No, I once back in the 60s, I once had Irwin and Eddie over for lunch, and I made some tuna fish sandwiches, and they both took like a bite out of it. I mean, it was good. They took both took a bite out of their sandwiches, and then they started to talk about Baba. And about 3 hours later, I mean, they took off, and they were like, and every once in a while, I looked down at those sandwiches, and only one bite out of each of, because they weren't even at that level. They weren't at the level of eating. They were just. And one time, I don't know if he never tells this, but I remember he and Eddie, during the East-West gathering, the Westerners would be there in the morning, and then they would have to exit, and the Easterners would come in. But Eddie and Irwin, when they were outside of the hall, they discovered there's a keyhole of the door, and they looked in, they could like see Baba on the dais. So they got, I think it was Eddie first. They looked up there, and they looked through the keyhole, and Baba turns and goes like that, right at the keyhole. And then Eddie says, "Hey, well, Irwin, look through this." this keyhole. And then he looks in there, and at that very time, Bob is up there with these people coming, and he goes like that, right to the keyhole. Baba, he did, you know, that Baba did call them his divine idiots. And they were so, here's one of the things they did. I don't think he'll tell you, but Baba, excuse me, in order to, you, in the latter years, you couldn't correspond with Bob, except that you could communicate with him if there was a change of address. So what did Eddie and Irwin do? They'd move into a new place about every month. So they would have to communicate to Baba that they had moved. And then they just moved from place to place. That's the way they were. Crazy for Baba.
That's
great.
Devotion, right? Yeah.
What's that?
Devotion.
Yeah, they were just quite a pair.
Wait, who did Baba say was his divine idiots?
Both Eddie and Irwin.
Eddie and Irwin. And they were,
yeah.
And who's Eddie? Is that the brother?
That's his, younger brother.
Deceased.
Yeah.
How old is Irwin?
I would say he must be getting up to 80. He met Baba, let's say, he met Baba in 1960. So if he met Baba in 1960, say he was 20, he would have been born in 1940. So what? Does that make him 81 or something?
Yeah, 81.
But I think he was about 21 or 22 when he met Bob. So, wow.
Oh, he's in his 80s.
Wow, he's in his 80s? Oh my God.
But just by a hair.
If that's the case, I mean, yeah. No.
I mean, I think you need to add that there are very few people who have met Baba and they were adults. I mean, Charles met Baba, but
he was a child.
Wendy met was a child.
Yeah.
And Bill Lepage, although he's not in this this hemisphere, he's a great storyteller.
Oh yeah. I could see if I can get Bill to come on.
It would work timing wise, right?
I don't know. Maybe I'll email him. It would be really nice to get him.
How do you know how old Tom was when he met Baba?
Tom Riley?
Yeah.
It's only about 4 o'clock in the afternoon Australia time, so it would it would be.
Oh, okay. Well, Tom Riley met Baba in 1958. I think he was, I'm just guessing, 25.
Oh wow.
So work back. I'm just guessing. So who's the math whiz here?
No one's raising their hand.
So it'd be 19. So he's probably 1937 or something like that.
When did he meet Baba, Jeff?
1958.
Oh.
And I'm just guessing he was probably 25.
Oh wow.
So you subtract,
33, so he must be 88 now?
Ooh, wow. Wait, I think he's even 90. I think he's even 90. That's right. Yeah.
His skin is really good. He doesn't look like he's 90.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, there's a whole page of everybody. Mayor Baba's Life and Travels.com. You pretty much see everybody's birthday there.
Uh-huh.
And I think Irwin says Irwin was born in 1937 in Manhattan, New York. There's a beautiful picture of he. It's actually a really funny picture. His expression on his. I wish I could share this picture with you guys. I'm not a co-host, so I can't. It won't let me show. But he's making a face at the camera while he's sitting with Avatar Meher Baba. He's making a face at the camera.
Alan, you can share now.
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Rock. Oh my God.
Wow.
It's a great picture.
Yeah.
What did the brothers do for a living?
Well.
Oh, look, he was born in 1937.
Yeah, he just said that.
Oh,
sorry. Yeah.
I wanted to read
that. Irwin had a florist business that was very, very successful down in Florida. And there he is right there. And Eddie did some, oh, I forgot, some kind of plumbing, or I just can't quite remember.
When did he pass?
Boy, I'm terrible about remembering dates. Probably, I'm just guessing 5 years ago, something like that.
It says 2015.
It said near the, yeah.
Yes.
What time?
2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yep.
This is Monty giving him some soup or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Well, we can just look at this too.
Yeah.
Travels.
What's this website, Alan?
MeherBabaTravels.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you can see you can pretty much click on anybody who's listed here. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a page for Jeff. Build the page, Irwin Luck.
Irwin Luck, yeah.
Don Riley.
Yeah, well, here we'll find out. There's
so
Tom.
Good looking.
Doesn't say his age. It says when he was divorced.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say his age. Oh, it's his. I guess he came in and kind of edited it. Because it has his biography in here. My boyhood was spent
in Woodstock, yeah.
I don't think, are there any pictures of him with Baba?
He's a good looking man.
Maybe not. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great website.
Yeah, I don't see him there with any of his pictures with.
1898 in Germany.
Yeah.
Was Jeff there? Did they say?
For Winterfeld.
He did meet him.
That was a good meeting about him. Yeah.
Yeah, really good.
Did you guys just have a meeting about him?
Yeah.
About Fred Winterfeld, yeah.
You did.
It's on YouTube.
When did it happen? Oh
Saturday.
Wow.
Last Saturday, yeah.
She's adorable.
That's a great photo of them.
Yeah. Baba said that she was an angel.
Really?
I am glad my angel has come down with me this time.
See that?
Wow.
Name.
That's pretty amazing. Well, no wonder I was thinking about him. Was it his birthday or something?
You know, I don't know whether it was birthday or the day he passed on.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think all these men is not here anymore.
I even have not. I think I have a different one.
Yeah, they've all passed on. There's not one of them remaining. Yeah.
That's incredible.
I was just thinking about that the other day. If they're all back in bodies now, and do they, and then when they come back, they continue with the same consciousness that when they left?
Yeah. I mean, Baba did say when you kind of get into your early 20s, sometimes you pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
But they're all ready to come back, I would say.
I was looking at Monty's picture and trying to imagine who she was now or where she is, you know.
Go back up just a little bit there, 1 second. See that little girl there?
Yeah.
That little girl, she was up in Maine going to college. And she connected with this guy and they became boyfriend and girlfriend. And one day he kind of confesses to her that he's devoted to a master, you know, and you know, he kind of stumbles out with it and everything. It says, yeah, the master Meher Baba. And she says, well, I met Meher Baba. And she said, he couldn't believe that. You didn't meet Meher Baba. He says, yes, I did. I got a picture of up in my trunk in the dorm room.
Wow.
Of me with Baba. And it wasn't this exact photograph, but so she went up there and lo and behold, she showed him the of her with Baba. Incredible.
Wow.
Did they stay together?
You know, I don't know. I haven't seen her in a while.
Wait, go back for a second. Yeah, right there. Who's the tall guy next? Yeah.
Oh, oddly enough, that's Clive Adams.
Clive Adams.
You know, I'd hardly recognize him. Clive Adams, he lives in Asheville. Long time. He was in LA for many years. Very close with Phyllis Frederick.
And this is Debbie?
Yeah, Debbie Peterson back then.
Hey,
yeah.
Jeff, I have a Michael Childs question for you.
Yeah.
Was he raised in a Baba family in Myrtle Beach?
No, he I think he grew up part of the time in New York. His mother, Florence, was a great friend of mine, wonderful lady. And he was the one who I'm pretty sure told her about Baba, but she was a lifelong Baba person. After that.
And does he have some woodwork in Baba's house at Myrtle Beach?
Yeah, that case, that kind of octangular case where it has Baba Sadra and his sandals and everything, that was built by him.
Yeah.
In the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a real expert. I mean, a real high craftsman as a carpenter.
He's also very good with language, I must say.
Oh, yeah, beautiful poetry.
Beautiful.
I've been reading his poetry at Arti.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, one time there were these two guys that were kind of felt like they were seeking God. They were very, very, very fired up, trying to seek God. And they said they would find God in Myrtle Beach. So they were roaming around, and I think they were needed directions, and they went up to this house, knocked on the door, and Michael Childs opens the door and says, "Are you looking for God?"
Who did that?
That's two fellow seekers.
Yeah, so he's a little more gonna say he's kind of not exactly conventional.
He is.
In his
my father
approach.
was a pediatrician, and he was on staff at Daniel Freeman Hospital here in LA,
Uh-huh.
which is all Catholic hospital. And in his pocket at all times. He either had balloons, dog bones, or these suction devil horns. And one time he was in the elevator at Daniel Freeman Hospital.
And he could put them on like magic, like he could just
They
go
were on
like
suction.
that.
He'd
And
take
they
out,
would just, you know, quickly, he could do it like that.
so the doors opened and there were two nuns coming in, and my father with the devil horn says, "Going down, ladies."
Sisters.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's the way it should be.
But
That's the way.
did Irwin's dad ever come around to both of his sons being Baba lovers? I might have missed all that.
You heard he came to him in a dream at the bottom
Right.
of his bed.
Right. Did that affect him?
Or no, well, a visitation visited him at after Baba had dropped the body. He came. The two, you know, Eddie and Irwin were kind of like miffed that their dad got the view of Baba after he dropped the body, and they never did. His name was Maurice, and what a trip. I mean, really a trip. I mean, just a total narcissist, you might say. You know, he was a character.
Irwin, we should ask Irwin that next time. He tells the beautiful transformation his dad had.
Yeah.
So he did change after that visit?
Yeah.
He tells a beautiful story on that. I think it's better for him to say that.
Yeah.
Very, very touching.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mayor Prasad.
It would be impossible for Maurice to come into a room and not be noticed and not actually close to the center of attention, no matter what. He is a real character. Yeah. Well, I guess we're keeping Jasima and Shalaja up because they're the hosts.
Okay.
And they're from Connecticut, so they're on the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time. Hey, great to see all of you. And we got to get, thank you. How did you like that?
We can't see you, Dinku.
I loved it, every minute of it. And I'm looking forward to, you know, hearing him again.
Yeah. He just comes in and starts in any direction.
And
Yeah,
how long
he's
has he
great.
been married? How long has he been with his wife?
Oh,
And
I'm terrible about years. I'm just saying 15 years or something like that. I don't know. Sham, were you there the whole time?
Yes, I was there whole time, and I am very thankful to you for bringing such a nice person.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
We can see Baba in him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baba.
Yeah.
Humor.
Baba was Jewish.
Yeah, I loved his humor.
The
The way he narrates it, you know, so humorously.
Yeah.
I read a lot of Baba and it makes me laugh. Like I can just picture
Yeah.
funniness in him, which is great. You need a God. You should have one humor.
Yeah. No, he kind of really gives you a nice flavor of, especially as it gets more descriptive, you know, of being with Baba. When he was sitting in that car behind Baba, he said like millions of thoughts were suddenly going through his head. I mean, he'd never had such an experience. I mean, you just going. I mean, like on steroids.
What a trip.
Yeah. Well, we'll just see.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah. See you guys.
Good night.
Much love. Yeah.
Good
Thank you,
night.
Jeff. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
again. Thanks a lot. Bye.